All right, and welcome to our first episode of the Savage League. I'm joined by with Shawnee again,
What's up, y'all?
and we're gonna have Osmo for a short time.
Hey, how y'all doing?
So, for this episode, we're gonna be starting to break down teams. We didn't really set a number on how many teams we're gonna go through, just I guess until we get tired. So we're gonna start off with Tico at the top, and I gotta say he looks like a contender. What do you think, Osmo?
Well, I don't know if you noticed or not, but at face value, to me, this starting lineup looks like it screams contender. But I don't know if you noticed, he has zero wide receivers on his bench. Literally, he has no wide receivers
Oh
on his
wow,
bench.
no, I didn't notice.
So he legit has a starting lineup, but the NFL season goes through its ups and downs. You have your injuries. What is he gonna do? If Tyreek Hill gets hurt, or Lockett, or Chark, then to me at that point he's scrounging the free agency to try and find a replacement, but you're not going to get that wide receiver one value that you're looking for on there. If I'm Tico, I'm looking to make a move to try and get another wide receiver depth. So his defense is solid. He's got top defensive players. So if I'm him, I'm looking to move um, maybe his David Johnson. If David Johnson gets traded and he sees a little peak in his value, I would look to trade David Johnson or some of his defensive guys to try and get some wide receiver depth. Even if I'm losing a bit on the trade, having a wide receiver two or three that he can plug into me is going to be leaps and bounds. As of right now, with this roster, because he has no picks and no depth, I don't see it making the playoffs because
Ooh,
injuries to me
Breaking
are
news.
inevitable. I mean, injuries are inevitable. Who are you going to plug in? Like this is to me, he has no one to plug in. If someone goes down, and he has players that have shown that they can get hurt in the past. Tyreek Hill had a hamstring issue before. Tyler Lockett missed time. Melvin Gordon, he held out. He wasn't hurt, but Fournette has missed time with his ankle before. So I feel like he has players that can get hurt. Even Patty
even
Mahomes missed a
Mahomes.
couple games. Yeah,
Right.
What do you think
right.
But
about?
I
So
got
I
some
just
breaking
feel
news
like,
for you.
what's
David
up?
Johnson did just get traded to the Texans.
Oh, that's awesome. I would
Yeah,
So
then,
but
right
I
then
would,
and there,
that's a timeshare.
he has to trade that man
I would trade David Johnson now with those
in
with
a
that
heartbeat.
news.
He's gonna have to start hitting those lines quick.
In a heartbeat.
Right,
And
he needs some wide receiver depth, but carry it over, Shiny. Tell us what you think.
well, yeah, like you said, just looking at the starting lineup, I do believe he's like 560 just because I say 5'6" because his lineup is strong, but you're always gonna have them bye weeks. And like you said, he has no one to fill in for him. And we all know that Leonard Fournette last year he held up all year, but that was probably what his first season that he played all 16 games, if I'm
Yep.
correct. And then Melvin Gordon also has an injury past. And, he never plays a full 16 games. Patrick Mahomes, I love it. I don't have nothing to say about it. But somebody like Sam Darnold, I don't ever see him playing besides a bye week, which I'll just take the loss for it. But if you can get something like for a young quarterback, maybe a fill-in wide receiver, he has to do something like take a risk, trade David Johnson or Darnold. But we know the owner. I don't see him trading DJ at all. So I
I
don't
uh
know, man.
I mean yeah, we all know Tiku can be stubborn with his deals sometimes. He is aggressive though, so I do think he can get something done. The
And you
problem
got to
is,
look at this. One more thing. DJ Chark. I love him, but is he truly going to be a wide receiver one? Because they still pick in the top 10. I can see CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Judy, somebody going there and taking some targets away. And Tyler Lockett is going to take a backseat to DK Metcalf.
all possibilities, but the point I was going to make is with Tico's strategy, the
Right.
problem he runs into is, let's say that he wants a player and the other owner says David Johnson's not enough. He then can't just say, okay, I'll throw in a third. He loses that ability because he can't really the picks or that flexibility doesn't give him the flexibility to maneuver around as easily. He literally has to match up player value. And I think that's one of the drawbacks with him. Like he is now stuck with this roster. Unless he gets somebody who's high on David Johnson being moved or in need of a quarterback. And I think with this league, opposed to the other one, there's not as many like. I think a lot of the other teams have a lot of big guns. This is more spread out. I think that even like, let's say Tyler Lockett got hurt or DJ Chark, I think his team is still good enough to carry him even if he puts a scrub in. Maybe they get 5, 6 points. Patrick Mahomes, Leonard Fournette, Tyreek Hill, like these are good players.
Right.
I think that 5 to 6 spot is a good place of putting him. He could
Yeah.
very well win the championship from 5 to 6 if everybody stays healthy.
But to your point, yes, they may carry him, if someone goes down, but you also got to factor in someone goes down plus a bye week. Then he's now filling in 2 spots, 3 spots versus just one.
And as you've heard, that might be when Tico says, "Yep, time to blow it up and move on to the next team."
Right.
Okay, let's take a look at Jay Ronaldo. Osmo, this is one of your boys, I believe. And I'll start it off here. I like
Yeah.
what he's done. It's young. I'm a little jelly of some of his players. Jacobs, McLaurin, Hawkinson. I tried for all of them and was basically it ended up like I think the one value on McLaurin at one point was like he said 3 first or something. Like it was a little crazy on the trade values, but that's one way of saying you don't want to trade. Todd Gurley, I just think that's garbage right there. I don't like but that's his flex. I like everything else he has in the starting lineup. I really don't have a complaint. He has no. You can argue Odell or Stefan could be a wide receiver 1. I just don't feel as safe with them. I would have liked to see someone else. But it's not bad. His defense is solid. There's nothing to write home about. I don't like that he has a corner there, Jalen Ramsey. I don't care how good he is. I would like to see a safety. But
2 corners.
oh yeah, that's true. He gets into the depth here. You have a bunch of what ifs though on his bench. He has more bench than Tico. But
True.
Justice Hill needs Ingram to mess up. N'Keal Harry has to bounce back from the injury. Andy Isabella, does he have a bigger influence? Is Jason Witten out for Blake Jarwin? There is no okay, this is a solid bye week play. There is just a bunch of question marks to me. He does have a first round pick. I really like his team. I see him in the playoffs. It's hard for me to predict in this league compared to the other one, I would say, but I see him maybe getting, that 3 or 4 seed, even a 1 or 2 is possible.
3 or 4 seed.
He could be even
Wow.
higher. I like how he built his team. I like it a lot. The only starter I have any concerns about is Josh Allen, and that's because Buffalo quarterbacks, and Josh Allen had a great season. I think he'll do good, but he was a little inaccurate at times. I remember watching the playoff game and him trying to do that backward ass lateral or whatever he was trying to do. I get it. He was playing to win the game, but it just seems like sometimes he might choke a little bit in the moment. He didn't have that many great games against the Patriots last year. Shawnee, what do you think?
Well, first, I'm going to start with Josh Allen. I do think he's a top 10 quarterback because you look at it, he already posted 2 top 24, in the first 2 years. And he also has that rushing floor of at least 50 yards. So that's, he's going to definitely get 5 to 4 rushing touchdowns. And you know how the scoring goes here. So I like that for him. And the running backs, I have no complaints. Me, I don't know. I feel like you should he has to make some type of trade because Stephon Diggs, Odell Beckham. I love Odell Beckham. I actually would keep him. But Stephon Diggs, I don't think you could play the game where you wait for him every other week or every 2 weeks. I think you should, sniff around the trade market, see what you can get for him to build some depth. And like you said, Todd Gurley, he's expandable at this point because I still think you could get some good value because I still believe he's a good player. But for this roster, he's like either 1 or 2 moves away from being really good or 1 or 2 moves from missing the playoffs to me because, like you said, the bench is not that strong. You got a bunch of what ifs. Alshon Jeffrey, decline. Damian Williams, where he actually put up the season that everybody was hoping for last year. N'Keal Harry, I'm not that high on. And everything else is just, nah.
Didn't they just extend Damian Williams? I think I saw that on
No, I'm saying, but yeah, that's true.
They picked up his option.
Yeah.
But we was all expecting it for you never see it until the playoffs. That's how Damian Williams has been for the last two years.
He was hurt, so
He was hurt, but who is Damian Williams? He's 27 years old, and he never even seen 200 carries in the season ever.
What about you,
But
Osmo? What do you
we'll
think?
see.
I mean I don't see what you see, Woods. Personally, I see a nice young team that may compete, that might be middle of the pack, but I don't see any way that this team makes the playoffs with the defensive pieces that it has. Um, it also has no set tight end. You know, all the tight ends that he has are young with upside. There's no, there's no top 5, top 10 tight end he has
I
on
mean, I
his
love
team.
Hawk, and I think Olsen.
Yeah,
I think
we
he's
all love
solid.
the idea of Hawk. Like, but we haven't seen it yet, is what I mean. You know, we all love his potential, his athleticism, but we need to see it. Is what I feel. Blake Jarwin might see an increased role. Well, he will see an increased role with what.
Osmo, you there? Shawnee, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
We lost Osmo. All right.
Well,
Well, okay. So Shawnee, where did you have him then?
like I said, so between him and Tico, I'm gonna give him a leg up. So I'm gonna put him at 5 and Tico at 6
It
because,
didn't sound like Osmo was gonna have him in the playoffs, anyways. Or if he did, it would be
well,
like a
like I
6 seed.
said, it was three. He's like one wrong move from being out and two good moves from being great. That's the way I see him right now. But as like this roster is good, so yeah, he's definitely 5 for me. But as we go along, you'll see how strong the other teams are looking.
Okay. Well, I don't know what happened to Osmo, but we're gonna keep trucking along. All right, Shawnee, go ahead and rip me
So I
apart.
got it. Nah, I was looking at this last night. It was giving me some trouble because
Can you guys hear
I
me?
re-
Now we can.
yeah, we can hear you. We all would.
Where did it end?
The
You were saying they were
Titans.
young and you liked them, but you didn't see what I saw.
Right, I'm young and I like them. What I mean to say is that he doesn't really have a clear cut. He has a group of young guys that may do well. What I was
Do
going to
you have
say
him in
as
the
well,
playoffs?
I don't have him in the playoffs. He
Got
barely missed the playoffs last year, and I
got
don't feel like he has done any moves to put him into that playoff conversation.
He has done zero
Um,
moves. He is very hard to trade with.
right, right. That's what I'm saying. So
No, he does moves, the wrong
he
moves. He gave
does
me
he does have picks though. So I
yeah
will say,
Yes, he
so he
does.
late.
can do something with that. But what I was saying before I got cut off on my phone was that he has a lot of pieces that are going to be either boom or bust for him this year.
Right,
So I
right,
can't really say that he's going to do well because Odell may be boom or bust. They've on that team. We got to see
right.
how he does. McLaurin, I got to see how he does year 2 because if Dwayne Haskins stays there, I'm putting McLaurin less because when Dwayne Haskins went in and took over for who did they have McCown
No, they
before
had
him?
Keenum. Keenum.
Keenum, sorry, Case
Yeah,
Keenum. Case Keenum and McLaurin. McLaurin was balling with Case Keenum,
that's true.
and then when Haskins went in there, you saw him digress. Haskins was missing him wide open, So I feel like I want to see something with that. And then Aaron Jones, they're talking about him digressing too this year. I just feel like there's a lot of question marks on his team. You also mentioned Gurley. We don't know what's going on with him. So a lot of pieces that are boom or bust. So I can't put him in that playoff convo until I see, some more
Right,
certainty with his team.
right.
All right. So as we were jumping into it, though, Shawnee, all right, you can start on me. What do you think?
Yeah, last night, like I was saying, as I was looking, this team was giving me trouble because I like the pieces you have. Like at running back, I love it. That's top 10 potential. No matter what anybody say about Kamara and his carries, he's not really injury prone. Last year was the first time we ever see him really go down with any type of injury. You know, you got Kyler Murray, so I see that you have Drew Brees and on the block. I think you should sell him. You may, might pick up a good piece for him. For somebody trying to contend and don't have a strong quarterback. But my only issue with this team right here is the wide receivers. Good, most of them year 2 with a whole bunch of breakout potential, but we all need the studs. And I don't know, like do you see any of these wide receivers being top 10? I'm not sure about that. And David Njoku, he possibly just lost his job, but I
Yeah,
think you should
it's
hold.
sad.
I think you should hold out because
Woods, come
somebody
hit me
like
up
him,
though. I need a QB.
yeah, like somebody like him could be easily traded to New England for a third round pick. I could see that happening. You know, that's how Bill Belichick likes to move. Everybody's panicking. Oh, they don't have this, they don't have that. He makes those small, minor moves, and Njoku could end up being better than Hooper. But you have Kyler Murray with on the bench. I love it. So this team I like. I don't see like studs besides like a Kamara, and I'll say Eckler definitely, especially if he doesn't get no rookie running back to come in there and take
Oh,
maybe
DeAndre
like
Hopkins
six.
traded to Arizona.
Wow,
Yeah.
I love it. You know I got him on my team, but hey, everything's working good for me right now. So,
So what you're saying is
anyways,
Kyler's value just went up a little bit.
oh, Kyler is top 4 right now.
Oh, is that Egask? Oh, no.
No, that's
It was you.
Ozzy.
I thought it sounded like Egask for a moment.
And your IDP needs a lot of work. You know, that's truly important when you don't have when you're not strong up top, that IDP, man, that it could carry people week to week and let you sneak into the playoffs. But right now, I think you have a good solid young team that you need to build on and not necessarily rebuild. But you just gotta make sure you make the correct moves.
What about you, Osmo?
Um, I feel like everything that he said was pretty much spot on and accurate. I think that you're doing the right thing with the team, but I feel like you're just you're not there yet. You need to ship out some pieces in order to get there. I'm not fond of your starting wide receiver lineup. I think that they're young and that they're great pieces for the future, but I don't think you have any real playmakers that are going to carry you this week. I mean, week to week this year. So if I were you, I would look to try and get some top wide receivers, and hopefully, if you make a couple moves and you draft correctly, I could see you getting into the playoffs. But as it stands right now, I don't think you have a strong enough wide receiver and IDP contribution.
Yeah.
Personally,
This team I took over, I felt like almost was worse. I think it was worse than the team I took over in the other league.
so you never replied to me. Just kidding.
I mean, you talk about my starters with upside. I mean, if you look at my receivers on the upside, I got Marquise Brown, Hunter Renfro,
Right,
Tate.
right.
So
Upside.
yeah, I have nothing but upside. I guess when
Nothing
I
for
was
sure.
correct, I agree. I agree with your guys' assessment. I like my wide receiver core. I know I don't have a stud, and I probably should trade for one, but I'm not going to sell him just to sell out for
Right.
this year. I don't. This team where I've gotten it to now, it is much better than where it was. I think this is maybe a year away. So next year, I think I have a decent chance. I do have 3 second-round picks, no first. So um, the problem being is that second round is probably when I'm gonna get great value at wide receiver, not at running back. Uh, you guys, I don't hate my defensive, but I agree it's not as good as other leagues or other teams.
Right.
Quarterback,
Say,
I'm set for a while.
Set.
Running back, I'm pretty happy with. I even have Philip
huh?
Lindsay just sitting on the bench, and he's a
Yeah, I
starter.
like that.
Um, yeah, but unfortunately, this I have found it is very, very hard to trade in this league, much more than the other one. I mean, I haven't. This league chat's been dead, I think. So it's hard to get, I think, appropriate value. So many people value their players, and they're not like thinking like, oh, how can I improve my team? It's hard to even get a conversation. I feel like,
Until the season actually starts and everybody panic trades.
yeah, once that happens, maybe things will get better. But right now, compared to the other league, it's just been really hard. I mean, you've got 10 people, I should say, because we know Marin doesn't trade. So you've got 10 people who you could do something with, and unfortunately, it's just like there is no,
I will
there's no
say
amazing
this
team. There's
league,
no discrepancy.
yeah. Well, we'll see.
All right, fine then. There is less of a discrepancy. Whereas in the other league, we have okay, top tier
No, I
teams.
like everybody's starting lineup. I get it,
Yeah.
but we're gonna see. Me and Ozzy got a strong team.
Well,
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
we'll go ahead and keep going. I would say if I make the playoffs, it's like the 6th seed. I see myself in
If
that mid tier at this moment. Like I'm not
Right.
I'm not predicting I will in this league. I am saying
Right.
if I do, it's a 6 seed. It wouldn't be
Got you.
much higher. I'll be like 6, 7, 8. I'll be in that ballpark.
So,
Okay.
okay, where are you gonna end? I need a number.
I let me. Well, I have to
As
go
it
through other
stands
teams.
right now.
As of
I'm
today,
probably like 7 or 8. I think I just miss.
yeah, I got 8 right now.
You got me worse, Ozma?
Nope.
Okay.
Nah, definitely not the worst.
All right, let's go to Marin, last year's champion.
Mm,
Oh, all right, Ozma. I'll
craziness.
let you start off here.
Can you start this one?
Okay, I'll start this one. Never mind.
Mm,
So right off the bat, Philip Rivers. Let's go down and look at his. Okay, she's got Baker, so she's fine, and Daniel Jones. Just got to get
yeah,
rid of that Philip Rivers there. Nick
I know
Chubb.
somebody who loves him.
If maybe I doubt you find that. Uh, Nick Chubb, I'm not super high on right now until Hunt's out of there. I mean, I love Chubb. I'm not saying sell him or anything, but I wish I'll feel a lot better about Chubb once Hunt's gone.
Right.
She has a great wide receiver. Um, I always feel with Marin's team, it's hard to get a read on because she hasn't checked her lineup in forever. So like random players are there. She has all the draft picks, so she doesn't trade. I don't see her repeating. Um,
No,
Will Fuller has not played a healthy season, so you
he
can't
just got a
depend on him.
boost though.
Allen Robinson has Mitch Trubisky throwing to him. I don't care if he gets force fed. He's just I don't trust him to keep doing the numbers on a regular basis. It's Mitch Trubisky. It's nothing against Robinson. George Kittle, I mean he's awesome, but she has Jack Doyle sitting in her flex spot at the moment. Um, and to be honest, I'm going down. I mean, if Gurley gets hurt, okay, then Henderson's a steal. But she has nothing on the bench. I don't know what she's gonna do.
Yeah, nothing.
Uh, I'm gonna be honest. I don't see Mary make. I don't know how she won. I don't see her making the playoffs.
I said
Uh,
luck, but hey,
uh, just dang. I mean, she has some good IDP players. It looks like. Yeah, I think I'll do better, and I think I was put myself at 7 or 8. I see her down in that 9 to 10 range. She has some major work to do and has to hit every draft pick. Her IDP is solid the more I'm looking at it, but she's gonna have 112, 212, 312, 412. Like these are all late round picks. She needs to do something. Because I also see Mark Ingram as their second running back taking a step back. They're either gonna get a running back, or Justice Hill is gonna play more of a. I think he's gonna have more
yeah,
of an impact this year, at least in third down situations.
correct.
What about you, Shawnee?
Yeah, like I'm looking at it. Everybody says, "Oh, she's great." I don't want to take anything from her. I respect everything she did, but I felt like last year she won a championship because everybody was making panic moves just to chase a championship, and she stayed pat. Everybody got hot at the perfect time. But as I'm looking at her roster right now, Phillip Rivers, trade him, hit up TTG. I know he wants him. Give it to him for anything you can get. Nick Chubb, like you said, I sold him in the other league, not because I don't think of Nick Chubb highly. I just think, yeah, he's going to take a step back. You see Kareem Hunt actually start to outscore him down the stretch, game by game. And Mark Ingram, he may he may have 1 year, but I don't know. I don't see him finishing out the season. Will Fuller never been in the top 30. He never finished the season. He just got a boost, of course, but I think if you ask for any more from him, he might get hurt. And Allen Robinson, I love him. Mike Thomas, I love him. George Kittle, I love him. But yeah, like you said, she has no depth. And even if Darrell Henderson starts to play, he's not Todd Gurley himself. Like sometimes we get it, mistaken. Like that same player is going to put up the same production, and I don't see it. So right now, I got her, like you said, ninth,
Yeah,
ninth seed. Yeah,
I don't see it. What about you,
yeah, I
Ozma?
don't see
Oh,
it.
Ozma muted himself. So,
No, that's
um,
good.
I
Yeah,
just
I just don't see it.
I don't understand how she won with this team, and I'm not even trying to
I'm
be like a
telling you,
jerk.
no, like I don't. Yeah, like I'm telling you, what happened was everybody. Well, early on, the top strong teams, like people who had a lineup, just decided to tank. I was one of them too. I had a strong lineup, and I just decided to rebuild because for whatever reason, it ended up great for me. But I just think that she was one of them teams that just chilled it out and never made a move, and she got lucky because people sold the wrong players. made the wrong moves and benched the wrong players on the wrong week. Sometimes it's skill, but luck goes along with it. And I take nothing from her again. She was really great at what she does. But right now, I definitely know she needs to make a move if she want to even see the playoffs again.
All right, moving on to Osmo's team. Uh, I feel like Osmo is the Oprah of wide receivers. You get a receiver,
For
and you get a receiver. Everybody gets a receiver. I mean, one,
real.
two, three, four potential. I'm not even gonna go. Hold on, I'm gonna go further.
Oh my
I'll even put
gosh.
Cortland Sutton and Jarvis Landry. He has six potential wide receiver ones. Potential.
No, Michael Gallup. What if Cooper leaves?
Gallup. I think Gallup's a solid wide receiver, but I'm not saying
No,
he's
I'm just
bad.
saying, like, yeah, yeah. Oh no, no, I
Yeah.
know. I'm just
Okay.
saying, like, if Cooper leaves, that's even
Point is
crazier.
he has wide
Yeah,
receivers out the wazoo, and even Thielen. I forgot about Thielen. Even though he's getting older, he
yeah,
might have
man.
one or two more good years still. Um, I just, Kerryon Johnson is not a bad second back, and Austin Hooper is solid. Stafford gets injured. I don't love that. I mean, he's a good quarterback, but his backup is Trubisky, so I can see why he wanted to
Mm.
hit me up for a deal for my quarterbacks, for maybe something with Breeze. James White, I think, is a solid third back if you're using him for a bye week fill-in, but he needs some more depth at running back as well. So that's probably, does he have draft picks in this league? He does. So he'll be
Yeah, you got some.
he'll be picking up a running back for sure. And then I mean Hooper, we're just he's in Cleveland
You got
now.
Fant also.
Oh, and he's got man. I think Osmo.
Yeah, see,
Yeah, Osmo's gonna be in is in the finals in this league. I think he fixed it. It's his league. Just saying. But anyways, I think his team is built to win. Not even just now, for a while. Um, it can go to the crapper really quick. If his running back doesn't hit and Carry gets hurt, he's screwed. There's no question about it. He is screwed. Um,
right?
and if Stafford gets hurt, as it stands right now, he's screwed. Like there's
Exactly.
so he and I think he understands that he's trying to shore up those positions. But I know he's always determined to get fair value. He might have to give up one of these receivers to get something, even if he doesn't, even if it goes into his trade calculator, not exactly even. He
Right.
needs a little bit more. I would add another. It doesn't have to be an amazing starter, but a reliable running back and a reliable quarterback. That's what I would be looking for at this point. And he does have three picks in the first three rounds. He can add somebody, but where does Alex? Is Alex like 1.2? Yep.
Alex.
So he's got the second overall pick. He's gonna be getting a great running back,
Oh, he's definitely gonna get a great running
but
back.
his quarterback he's taking a chance on maybe something like that. So what do you think, Shawnee?
Well, like you said, I do have him as a finals contender. I like what he did at the receiver spot, of course, but my only question is, can Carrion actually stay healthy? Because I like him. He's a good young back. Even though he's gonna take one at number two, most likely, I still think he needs some production from Carrion. Keenan Allen, he's in a spot where maybe Tyrod Taylor is his quarterback, and they're gonna check down the ball a lot more to Austin Eckler. I know they're gonna give him his targets always as Keenan Allen. He's gonna get open some way, but does that put him still in the top 10? Devontae Adams, I love. I think he will be the number one receiver this year, actually. Maybe number two,
Wow.
always in that range.
I
1 to 2.
I'm a Packers fan. I disagree. Not number one. He'll be top five though.
I mean, not number one, but top three, I'm going to say, put it like
All
that.
right.
And then Amari Cooper, he has some splits where, man, like he disappears, then he's great. Same with Mike Evans. So I'm not even gonna really worry about his receivers. He'll know he has so many he can throw in there, like he has no issue with. But like you said, the problem comes down to, can Stafford stay healthy and can he find them running backs to hit? Other than that, he's a contender and he might win it if the running backs hit for him. So I don't think he needs to make any drastic moves. He just need to make the correct ones at running back, and maybe with one of those seconds, he might could pick up like a Justin Herbert or somebody just to fill in, because Mr. Trubisky might get his job taken by someone like Andy Dalton or someone.
Yeah, he definitely needs another reliable quarterback. Yeah, making my Drew Brees actually have some value there. Um, all right.
True. Yeah.
All right. We're gonna keep moving along since Osmo's mic's still muted. So on to TTG. or forever
Okay.
the person known for trading Saquon Barkley?
Yeah, this is my best friend
All
actually.
right, Shawnee, you wanna take it from the you wanna start off here?
Yeah, so I like some of the pieces that he has. Like he has some real solid pieces, but it's gonna be hard to see how he's gonna get depth from the rest of his roster because you see he has Cooper Cup. You know, he has that top 10 potential because he gets so many targets. And I heard that they might trade Brandon Cooks, so that's even more value for him. He has a young AJ Brown, which I love. But I will say, everybody else says, oh, there's no way you should trade him. You shouldn't if you're just gonna keep building on with this team instead of actually trying to rebuild. He's somebody to rebuild around. But if you're trying to, speed it up, you trade him, get a couple pieces plus picks. Devontae Freeman, I think his career is almost over. One more concussion. Miles Sanders, I love. So this team right now is like bottom four, bottom three team. So he just needs to keep on building on instead of trying to blow it all up and rush the process. I think he should just stay patient, continue to pick up young good players, and trade for great value if he can find it. But other than that, yeah, he's definitely outside of the playoffs for me.
I mean, this might be another person that Hosma might hit up trying to get a quarterback. He's got Tannehill, Drew Lock. He's got a bunch of
Yeah,
quarterbacks,
he got
but
yeah,
definitely doesn't need all
definitely got a
those
quarterback.
quarterbacks. So I could see him giving up one of those. Uh, he's not. To me, this is a team that is gonna be in that 10 to 12 range. Um,
Right.
Cooper Cup had 1 year. The year before that, he was wide receiver 40. Let me see, make sure I do this. 51 in a PPR league. Year before that,
Right.
25. So he's had 1 year of wide receiver one ability. I just don't see that happening. Um, again, John Ross, I don't love. He keeps getting injured. He doesn't stay on the field. Godare is still sharing with Ertz. I do believe Godare is the future, but not now.
But he
Maybe
still was top 10 last year. Either way, I love it.
I like Godare. No, no, don't get me wrong. I just
No, I'm just saying, like, I just like it. Yeah,
yeah, that might be a piece to trade. But again, you keep saying he should build
never
on.
gonna happen.
He it's just there's no bench, there's no nothing. He's gonna take his lumps. I agree. The best thing you can do is probably just sell his QB and yeah,
Just
and
find the
hope
value
someone
where he
gets
can. Yeah.
just hope someone gets desperate, like for an Emmanuel Sanders type or something like that.
Or even a Cooper Cupper, like for a championship team headed into the playoff. It's just like you keep Sanders, of course, unless you get blown away. You keep AJ unless you get blown away. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you don't necessarily have to
The
go
other
full
problem
on
is
fire sale.
I think he needs I mean, he would benefit greatly. I would too, in this league from having a taxi squad. He has one, two,
Oh
three,
yeah,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 picks. And right now, his staff is over the amount of players. Now, Marcus Mariota, there's a ton of players he can just straight up cut, um, and nobody's gonna even bother to pick up. But
pick up.
yeah, yeah, there's just not much else for me to say. We has like 3 or 4 bright spots, and it's pretty bad from there on out.
Yep,
All right, on to Alex. Alex is going full rebuild. Um,
as you can tell.
yep, he's got his Sony Michelle. He's a Pats fan. We all know that. Holding on to Calvin Ridley. Still trying to get value like another person I know in another league for Ridley. Uh, Hunter
I
Henry,
will.
solid piece there. And his defense from the players he has in the starting lineup are fine. There's not much to love on this bench. I do like Akeem Butler. I like that one. Um, Calvin Harmon showed some stuff last year. Um, and he's got some draft picks. I think that's really all I can say about this. Is his defense is solid, and he has some pieces, but I think he's in that 10 to 12 range as well.
Yeah, see, for me, definitely this looked like a next year 1-on-one potential type team. So right now, like you said, actually, I don't care if you're a Patch fan, you sell Sony Michelle for any second round, first round pick that anybody throw at you. Calvin really, I'm a real believer in him, but on a rebuilding team, maybe you sit and hold. Like you definitely don't sell him for peanuts because he's a great player. He's only 25. You know, so receivers can last up until their 30s, and he showed glimpses of his breakout potential. And with Austin Hooper now moving on, it's 100 targets vacated and 800 yards to split between him and Julio. So I love it. And Hunter Henry, I think on this type of team right now, he's expandable. So you should be looking to move him. You know, everybody's dying for a top 10 potential tight end. So I think he'll get good value if you sell him there. And like you said, someone like Jared Goff to a team like Ozzy, you never know. He can throw you, you know, some future seconds because Ozzy has a couple of picks that he can look to move because he has a big roster full of receivers that he doesn't want to cut. So I'm sure he'll move some picks just to get some good value and a good, decent backup quarterback. But other than that, this team is rebuilding, and he needs to start selling some of the veterans like Golden Tate for third round picks while you can, because the longer you hold, the value just goes down more and more.
Yeah. All right. That was seemed pretty easy. On to Bankhead, the trade raper. I think that's his nickname in our league, right? Right. I
Yeah,
might be
but not in
remembering
this
wrong.
league.
um, so we've got Winston. He throws 30 interceptions, but he also throws 36 touchdowns. So you gotta like that. Derrick Henry, Tennessee's gonna run him into the ground one more year. Uh, and Marlon Mack is that's where it stops for me.
Jesus. Yeah.
For the rest of his team, I mean, I like Devontae Parker, but I think I've already said it on record. I think Preston's going to take some of that value. I mean, if I look at his 2019, Preston 11, 17, 11, 16, 11, like he's doing okay. Then once Preston Williams gets hurt, 34, 15, 53, 23, 35. While Preston was there, he was the second option for the most part.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
So, you know, I'm not questioning Devontae's ability. I just think that he's gonna be back in that teen range instead of getting the big points like he was at the end. Um, Bankhead loves Hilton. I don't know why. I think Ty is done for the most part. Marvin Jones is another receiver. I know he's been trying to shop Marvin Jones. Um, I don't love what he's done here with the team. He does have the 1-1. He'll get good value there. I don't see Bankhead making the playoffs. I really don't. I think
No.
I just think he had like my guys who are okay at receiver. I'll take over his wide receiver Scott, except for Devontae. I can't argue. Devontae's better than. Well, no, I have Preston. You know what? Screw it. I'll take my wide receiver
No.
Scott over his.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say yeah.
So I think he's not going to be the worst. I think he'll be in that 9 to 10 range. I just don't see him competing against some of the bigger boys here.
No. So like you said, I got him out of the playoffs because when I look at this roster, I really don't see any studs. I guess you can call Derrick Henry a stud. Will he repeat one more year? Maybe. But if so, I think he only has one more year to repeat what he did last year. But right now, you sell that type of player when you're looking at this roster because it's close. It's very, very, very close to rebuilding if it's not already. Because Marvin Jones is just nobody. T.Y. Hilton is starting to lose value as we can see. And like you said, Devontae Parker, we've seen it 1 year, but he's been in the league 5 to 6 years now. So Preston Williams definitely look good. I believe that Parker will give him something, but I don't think he gives him what he needs to make the playoff or any type of run at the championship. And then, yeah, you playing that game with Jameis. Like, is he gonna be 30 touchdowns, or is he gonna be 30 interceptions, or he might just be more conservative and not give you what you actually was hoping for?
We don't
You
even
know,
know
them
where
big
he's going
boom
to be
bust
yet.
games. Yeah, you don't even know where he's gonna land. And then Bankhead also traded for Raheem Mustard. Like, I think he was looking at his roster, thinking like, "Oh yeah, I got the playoff spot." And then you look at it now, and you look at all the other rosters. I don't think that was a good move because we all know in San Francisco it could be anybody any given week. And I go down to his roster. You got Alex Smith on the roster. And, man, I don't
I
know.
think
I think he should
I'm gonna
package
I'm
the
gonna chalk
whole
this up,
49ers.
and I'm guilty
Yeah,
of this too. He's been putting
yeah,
his focus on the main league with Tico with the Real House Husbands League, and this one has been neglected, and it's kind of showing a little bit in my opinion.
yeah.
He needs to
That's
make some moves here, be a little bit more aggressive. I've seen him turn things around. I don't think he's really put his emphasis here yet.
I'll just say this, Bankhead. We all watching now. Let me show me how great you really are.
All right, Shawnee, I'll go first. Holy crap. Um, wow. It's a heck of a starting lineup. Your weak spots are Bell and Woods, and that's not even that bad. I think you're hoping to get a running back two out of Bell. It's feasible. I don't love him, but it is feasible. I'm not gonna say he's horrible. You've got a stud in Hopkins, stud in Jones. You got one of the best players ever in Barkley. Watson's top three, four quarterback. Ertz, he's still top. He's up there, but I'm just hesitant because we saw Godere top 10. Is this the year
Right.
where they start to replace him? It depends on how many running backs Philly gets. Kenyon Drake looks amazing. That OTB, I'm assuming, is going to come off now that he's been franchised. I'm guessing that on the
No, he's
block he's
still on
going
the
to come.
block.
You're gonna be hoping out for the world there. Then comes your bench. There's guys you're hoping can stay healthy, but otherwise, you know, that's it. You don't got a running back depth there. Wide receiver, you got your Deontay Johnson. Uh, I think you're okay. McCole Hardman, Rashad Perryman. AJ Green. AJ Green's pretty good on a winning team, and you're not even using him as a starter. I like that. So I like your depth there. Sternberger. Oh wow, you have Ingram on the bench. Holy crap. Uh, yeah. I mean, Shawnee. I guess you and Ozzy. I think are going to be in the playoffs now. You are royally screwed though if something goes wrong. If there's another holdout, if there is a player who gets hurt, like I would say running back wise, if one of those two guys gets hurt, um, you're a little screwed. Uh, so you're hoping that these players are going to pan out, and you know you're going to be good. You're not screwed like Tico bad, whereas one injury
Right.
really screws him. But you do not have the draft picks to make up for any of these players suddenly having a decline or being traded to a team where they don't pass the ball or something like that. Um, so yeah, I guess I one or two. What do you think?
Yeah, of course I got myself. Not just because it's myself, but I got myself as one because I look at my quarterback situation. Like you said, I think it's definitely top four. And even my backup is solid. Matt Ryan, he likes to throw it around the park. And then Barkley, I got him as the best running back this year. We haven't seen his CMC season yet, and I think this is the year for it. Bell, like you said, I was just looking for a consistent, at least running back too, and I think Bell is going to be much better because that new GM is definitely attacking offensive line is going to get them help, and as long as he under contract, they have to use him. They paid him a lot of money, and they're going to have to use him at least for this season. And DeAndre Hopkins just went to a team where they throw the ball at least like 70 times a game, and he's already top three player. Julio Jones, I know he got one more season in him. I'm just looking for top 10, top 12 potential. I don't need him to be number five, number six, number four, anything like that. Yeah, Robin Woods as a receiver three, and also I can switch him out with a AJ Green or anybody that I feel like. And Zach Ertz, I just wanted somebody to pair with Evan Ingram, and I seen that as a great chance. I have definitely a tight end one out of the two. Kenyon Drake, I put all I just went all in on him, and now I think it will pay off, especially with DJ being traded.
Yeah, that's a
And then
crazy
with all the
crazy
wide
team.
receiver depth, I believe I got some young players on the bench where I could patch it to get somebody pretty good. I just need a starting running back. It could be somebody like Philip Lindsay, so you can always throw it my way.
Yeah, the problem is the one position where I have high upside is wide receiver. So you, that's the
Yeah,
problem. You and Ozzy don't need what I have to sell.
yeah, but I believe in my running back situation. I just need if guy stays healthy, man. Yeah,
That's a
I'm
big
all
what
in.
if.
Big what if, but I'll
Hasn't done
take
it
it.
yet. All right, moving on. We
Yep,
got Maverick.
I like Maverick.
All right. Oh man, the best running back situation there is. Christian McCaffrey and Zeke. Let's see. We're gonna have to go down. Oh, his wide
You got
receivers.
Chris
When you see
Godwin.
Greg Ward as a starting wide receiver, you know you're in trouble.
Well, you
Um,
got Chris Godwin, so
yeah. Okay. Yes, I remember now. His team is just messed up because he hasn't touched it. He's a player
right.
over. Ronald Jones as a backup, not bad. We'll see if he gets replaced or not. Um, James Conner as a backup. I mean, man, he's pretty damn set at running back. Chris Godwin, Julian Edelman. Even though I'm selling him, like he's still got maybe a year or two left.
Yeah,
Um,
Brandon Cooks might get traded.
yeah, Brandon Cooks might be traded. He still has
Travis Kelsey.
defenses too. He's got Travis Kelsey, arguably tight end 1 or 2 for however many more years. Now he doesn't have squat for draft picks really, except for some low end flyers.
Right.
Um, I think it really comes down. So we've got Godwin. So his wide receivers are weaker than you guys.
Right.
Quarterbacks Aaron Rodgers. He's screwed if Rodgers gets hurt because like he's got what Fitzpatrick. That's it. So he might want to
Yeah.
make a move there. But from what we've seen so far, he's in that three to four range.
I
I
think
think.
I got him at 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he needs to make a move. Which sucks because the best move he could make is making trades with Osmo, and I don't know if Osmo wants to have more competition. Um, uh, I don't even know if what he would sell to Osmo other than maybe like Ronald Jones, and I don't know if that's gonna be enough to
Maybe.
do anything. But yeah, I just see him in that 3 range. He has a bunch of solid pieces once he puts them all in the right spot. Um, but it's just a tier below what you guys can do.
Yeah, so yeah, I got him firmly at 3 right now because I love his running back situation. Both guys are really durable. So I got Kenny Galladay as a potential top 10 player, but Aaron Rodgers right now, I still think he's in that top 10 range. But even if he gives you like the same type of season, I don't think that's enough to push him past me or Osmo, or some weeks somebody else might come on strong. So I'm not sure if he can actually upgrade from Aaron Rodgers without giving some of his good players up. But after that, it comes down to the depth on the bench because James Carter, I like him, but I'm not sure Ronald Jones. If you gotta believe in a Ronald Jones breakout, that's also good, but that's still just enough what you need for a flex spot. Because I'm not a true believer in Robbie Anderson. Besides like bye weeks filling, I like him for a bye week filling. Maybe he gets lucky and AB come back. You never know. Like I think this team is definitely top 3. And if something breaks his way, he's definitely contender.
I
He's
mean, if
definitely a
I'm him, I'm
contender.
trying to ship Connor and Jones. Like I'm trying to. I don't
I'm
know
trying to
if
tip
you ship
Connor
both.
though.
If you ship both, you're screwed at depth for running back.
Yeah, but
I mean, he's got.
yeah, that's
He needs to make a move at receiver. I think we're both in agreement there.
yeah, definitely at receiver.
All right, on to Egask. He does love
I
his
like
Chris
it.
Carson shares.
Yeah,
Do you want to start off? I've done a couple in a row.
yeah. So me and Egas, we talked about this team, and he was selling himself short. I told him, man, I really like all the potential that he has, and he's a sneaky 6 spot playoff team at the moment. Because as you see his roster, you got DJ Moore, Christian Kirk, Debo Samuel. Okay, Christian Kirk might not be, with the D Hop coming in, and you still got Larry Fitzgerald and all those players, but he's definitely a solid wide receiver 3. And then you got DJ Moore. I like it, I love him. And Debo Samuel, I think he's gonna get at least 120 targets this year coming up. And Russell Wilson, he's probably a top 5 quarterback. He got a solid IDP. He got Tom Brady for a backup. He could give you one good season just to back him up. And he owns what? One, two, three, four. He owns 6 first-round picks
Five,
in a couple. Oh, 5. Yeah, sorry, 5 in a
two
couple
seconds.
couple seconds. Yeah.
But it's my second, so it's 2.1. So it's basically pick 13.
Yeah, so that's yeah, so that's basically another first, and he's gonna package
Yeah,
him if
wait,
he
he's actually got
wants.
2.2 as well. So he
Yeah,
has
so he's set up
seven in
perfect.
the top four in the top 14. He has 7 of the picks.
Yeah,
I
so
I gotta
either
take it back. I gotta walk it back, man. He's probably sitting out 3 over.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
He might
he's
be taking
sneaky,
out one of
but
you
that's
two.
yeah. So why I don't have him doing it? Because even though all these players good, you got to guarantee one of them rookies gonna be somebody like a Devontae Adams, a D Hop, or somebody like that. So I definitely got him right there. Like I told him, man, this team is nothing to play with. Like he definitely has some firepower. But the thing about it is, I know some of those picks has to go to rookie running backs. He has to take them chances on rookie running backs, unless he's gonna trade for somebody. But the people who owns the top running backs in the league are the contending team. So I don't see them helping him become a contending team
I,
taking rookie picks.
I think he's got a pretty easy path. I think, let's see, Bankhead has the 1-1. He could feasibly take CD Lamb, but he might take another running back. And
Yeah, yeah,
then
he's
who's
definitely
got
gonna
who's
take it.
got 1.2? All the picks have been moved around, so it's hard to keep track.
Yeah,
Uh,
them picks. Oh,
uh,
Ozzy got it.
Ozzy has it. Ozzy's taking a running back. We all know that. So
Yeah,
worst case, he loses out on one running back, one wide receiver. He has pick 3 and pick 4. So
yeah,
he's
he's
gonna
good.
take a stud running back, and he's either gonna take CD Lamb or Jerry Jeudy. That's what I see
Right,
happening with him, and I think Jeudy and Lamb are both good enough to pull a Calvin Ridley to immediately get in that low end wide receiver 2 or that high end wide receiver 2, not wide receiver 1, but
right.
he's gonna do better. That'll replace Christian Kirk, and Kirk goes down to the flex.
I
Even if
like it. Yeah.
I don't love Kirk anymore. I'm gonna tell you right now, if they had faith in Kirk,
No, me
they
either.
wouldn't be making this trade for Hopkins.
I mean, I don't think Kirk ever would we expected, but I definitely like the target share. That's all I wanted from him. But now definitely takes a little definitely takes a little step back. But it's still a player that I would like to have, but not before you can almost get a back end first, high second for him. But now I don't know. Maybe you get that middle second. Depends on who really likes him, who loves him. Like I don't understand.
Uh, I don't want anything to do. I didn't want anything to do with Kirk, and I definitely don't want anything to do with him now.
Yeah, but like I'm gonna change my thought process up and say Egas is the third, and I'm gonna put Mavericks at four.
Yeah,
I'll say
yeah.
that.
I could see
But just
Egas
because
taking
this
one of you
team is
two out.
so young, it's possible. I think anything is possible when it comes to fantasy. So I'm definitely gonna leave it at that point. So I'm definitely not gonna say, "Oh yeah, I'm winning it all," or "There's no chance."
All right, let's move on to our last team, Da Beers. Um,
He got the same team as always.
the Beers has a solid team.
Yeah,
There's nothing amazing, and it's also I wouldn't say anything horribly bad. Lamar Jackson is the best fantasy quarterback for one season, not long term, but I think for the next couple of years he beats Patrick Mahomes in numbers. But with the difference being, I feel Mahomes has become a better quarterback. Lamar is going to get you more fantasy points with the risk of any week he could be done, like just get knocked out, popped. Um,
right,
but anyways, so he's got arguably 1A, 1B in terms of quarterback. Dalvin
right.
Cook
Of
was a
course.
fantasy stud. He's entered that Ezekiel Elliott territory in my mind, which is that tier right below McCaffrey and Barkley. So you got a stud running back. Kareem Hunt, they placed a second round tender on him today. He needs to be somewhere else for him to have value. Otherwise, this is just not worth it here. His wide receivers, Tyler Boyd upside, Mike Williams upside, Juju bounce back. There's a lot of questions here. It's better than my squad, arguably, but it's a lot of upside. I love Mark Andrews. They forced him the ball. He was a tight touchdown machine. Anthony Miller is predicted to have a big season. Um, but I mean, I'm looking at it. Oh my, he's got Montgomery and Singletary on the bench. He's got Dak Prescott on the bench. Uh, he doesn't need anything there. Wide receivers a little weak on the bench. He's got Jono Smith and Irv Smith on the bench. I'll shoot. De Beers is gonna be in that talk. I mean, yeah, I don't see me. I can't make the playoffs now. It's gonna be you and Ozzy.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
Egas,
Egask and
Mavericks.
Maverick, and then probably Tico and De Beers. Maybe even Jay Ronaldo. Like between Tico, Ronaldo, and De Beers, I think one of them misses out, and then everybody else is just below. Like there is nothing else.
Yeah, so like for me, I look at this roster and at the receiver spot, I love Tyler Boyd actually. But Mike Williams, I'm not a believer in him. I think he will probably have a better season, but I'm not counting anything. Like I wouldn't put a whole. I don't know. I don't have that much faith in him as my wide receiver 2 or 3. Juju, he will bounce back. And then I look down, he has great assets on the bench. So I'm kind of curious what he will do with them because you got David Montgomery and Singletary, like you said. His name, I don't know. So, like, if I'm him, I'm looking for Dalvin Cook's backup, which Tico has. Maybe he can do some type of package of, I don't even know, maybe Corey Davis, Larry Fitzgerald, Jalen Hurd, maybe give some of them players because Dalvin Cook, he scares me. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's a top back, but he scares me. He never finishes the season, so that's why I never pick him. I always skip right over him when I see Dalvin Cook. But other than that, he's definitely in that playoff contention, and you never know. Everything breaks right. He can be a contender possibly, but at his receivers, I don't see no studs. So that's where it stops for me.
Yeah, I think his receivers are holding him back. He does have a first round pick, pick 5.
Pick five,
Depending
that's a great spot.
depending on what I think he'll go running back or receiver. So I think depending on what Hunt happens to Hunt, if you know what, actually screw it. He's got Singletary and Montgomery. He has to go receiver. I think he's praying
But
at this
see,
point that Lamb or Judy drops to him at 5.
right, but see, at this point, if I do have a shot, and I can't tell nobody how to play or how they like or how they view their team. But say you got Lamar, you got Dalvin Cook, and you need a stud receiver. That fifth pick is highly valuable. You never know what you could trade it for. So I would try to get someone who's still relatively young and still give you that stud potential for that fifth pick instead of just hoping on a rookie hitting in his first year. And maybe you're not even getting your first option because, like you said, maybe Bankhead or somebody else picks CD Lamb or Judy already. So you don't want to hope on a rookie to get you, further in the playoffs.
No, that's a different way of thinking about it. Is selling the 5th pick to get a receiver, or at least I'm gonna be honest. I don't love his backup receivers. He needs to like get a whole crew. Like he needs to like I don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't love. That's why,
Yeah,
like
I
these
heard you. I
Packers
heard.
don't
That's
like the
what I'm
fifth.
agreeing with you. I'm saying like
Yeah.
just almost clean these guys out. I would keep Larry and maybe Terrell if you know for fill-in weeks. But there's not one of them. I'm like this guy could start. Like this, it just. Uh,
See, like Larry and Terrell, I feel like he should ship him to Tico for Alexander Madison because, like I said, I don't want to play that game with Dalvin Cook because
but
that is
see,
your season right there,
the thing is even if let's say Dalvin Cook gets hurt, he's got David
right?
Montgomery and Devin Singletary to go right in there, and I guess
But
technically he
David
could.
Montgomery,
Anthony Miller is a 4th option. He could put one of those running backs there instead of Anthony Miller.
that's true. We need to see it from David Montgomery before I even say that. Or you could just put him in there.
He's a
Yeah,
starting
you could
running
put him
back.
in there.
He's gonna
No,
get more
you could put
points
him
than
in
those
there. But
guys.
that's true. But what are you expecting from him? Like he's definitely not top 10 to me. So even if you put him in there, you're still taking a huge step back because Alexander Madison might still put up a lot of production because I've seen him I've seen his work. Like he's a really good, efficient runner. So better than what David Montgomery's looking like, especially in the system that he's running with. So I still think he needs to get his backup. Like that should be his first priority right now. Just to me, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we're on the same boat. He's gonna make playoffs. He
Right,
needs to
right,
do
right.
something. He's gotta do something to get another stud or something to if he wants to make that splash.
It's crazy. His draft position is 5, but I don't know which moves that he made. Like now to get all these players, but yeah, he's definitely like fifth seed for me.
I like what you said though. I like your idea, and he's got 2 firsts next year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
He
definitely
could
set up
easily.
well. I
I think he just has to sell the pick and take a. I like exactly what you said. Take a young, good wide receiver. Take somebody in that 10 to 15 range that's younger, that you could see becoming a wide receiver one and target that one.
All right,
Trade 2 firsts if you got to.
right, all right. So let me help him out. Let me help everybody out right here. He should take that fifth and get Calvin Ridley and get him and Alex get both what they want. But Calvin Ridley straight for the 5, I probably wouldn't do. But if I'm him, I'm just asking for an extra second or something like that. Trust me, it can help him. It can help
It
him.
could.
It depends on
I
what he
would
want
want
to do.
somebody a little bit. I'm not as big on Ridley as you are. I don't disagree though. Like that, Ridley
I
would
just,
help.
I just
Ridley
don't
would help.
see. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it depends on, like, if is he all in or he's not. That's basically what he has to decide. If he's all in or he's not. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Because he has some ammunition, like you said. He has 2 first-round picks next year. Maybe he can throw 2 first with that 5 being 1 and get somebody, a major piece. Like, you never know.
All right, well, that wraps it up for us. Thanks for joining me again. And you got anything to say before I play us out?
That's it.
All right, guys. Next time we'll try to break down Shawnee's League. Have a good one.